You might remember that a few weeks ago, I think right before Christmas, I posted to the Broadway community about supporting my friend Brett Shuford. And if you're new here, my name is Zakiya Young, and I'm your favorite suburban Black girl. And you've probably seen that he did pass away on January 3rd. It's His passing has rocked my world. And I've taken the week away from posting on social media to just kind of process. But I definitely feel like he would be like, okay, come on, get back to it, post the content, post the content. Like, yes, you've taken enough time away, but we have to keep moving forward because what you're saying is important. So I will be back to my regularly scheduled programming tomorrow because so much is going on in the world, which has not made this any easier. But what I have, well, first I want to tell you about my friend. Um, Brett and I had a friendship where it's like we didn't talk all the time. We were not those kinds of friends, but when we were geographically near each other, we would always check in. We would text each other, we would call each other, especially when things would be happening in our lives that we would post about or we would hear about. Like, for example, when everything started back in 2020 with Black Lives Matter and we were all locked in. I remember he started messaging me about what was going on and about racism and about how he could be a better support system for Black people. And what I loved is that he and Steven sat down for a conversation with me that I filmed and posted about how the white gay community could be better allies to Black people. And
For me, my compassion comes up a lot when I think about LGBTQ people of color. Yeah. And how hard that must be. Yeah. Because it's a double whammy. Or triple whammy.
I have to say, like, I'm still floored that he was open and willing to have that conversation because so many times people are scared to speak up. People are scared to acknowledge, like, hey, I don't know enough about this and I want to do better. I want to be better. I want to see if I'm unknowingly causing you harm.
Think about, especially talking about theater, musical theater, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, Clinton's here. Hi, Clinton.
Hi, Clinton.
When I think about shows like Dreamgirls, that show was written by white Jewish people.
Bruh. Bruh. Listen, don't even. Yeah.
So yeah. Let's write a musical by people of color, starring people of color.
Yeah.
Let's praise that.
And let's hear the story from their point of view with the thoughts that they have. Yeah.
Right.
So we had that conversation. And then when he got into the content creation space, it was really interesting to see him really just take that and run with it. Like, he was very consistent with posting. I coached with him to see, like, because I was like, yo, you're blowing up. Like, how did you do that? And he took me through some great exercises, talked me through it. But the biggest takeaway I got from him is that it's not about being perfect. Just post it. Like, don't get stuck in the loop of waiting for it to be perfect so then you procrastinate and it never happens. And I feel like he also did that with expanding from focusing on acting to figuring out, like, okay, yeah, I'm still acting, but there are other things I think I want to do. And maybe I'm at a point in this acting career where I'm like, I'm not leaving, but also it's not doing the thing it used to do for me.
My friends and I, we've cracked the code. And everyone who knows us knows that we're fine with this. We didn't come from money,
but every song's like payback, diamonds on your timepiece, chipped
And I loved that he's the type of friend that it was like, let's go do something. For me and him, it was always like, let's go do something. It wasn't just like, let's hang out. It's like, let's have an activity. So the last time I saw him, he was here in LA, and he took me to go with him to tour one of Walt Disney's homes. And it was just so cool. He was so into Disney, so into Disney. um, but he was just an incredible person. And I think my grief is that I won't get to see his posts anymore. His posts were always so positive and fun, and the world is not going to experience his light anymore. And I'm not going to get the text that says, "Hey, I'm in LA. Can we hang out?" The bright side, because I have a dark sense of humor, is that he won't have to deal with any of the shit that's going on now in the world. um, and as people pass from this realm to the next, that's always the first thing I think of. Like, well, at least they don't have to see what's going on now politically. But I have, in each of my lessons, I've been telling my students about Brett. I've been showing them his content. And I was sitting and talking to my friend Sean about him the day that he passed. And I just kept saying, it was less than 5 months. Like, he was diagnosed in August, like he posted about his diagnosis, I want to say like toward the end of August. And then by January, he's gone. So I can't just sit in the devastation of that, right? And as I was speaking to my friend about him, I just kept coming back to 4 months. Everything in your life can change in 4 months. Our time is not guaranteed, especially with what's happening politically. I just want to encourage you to not let fear keep you stagnant. Don't let fear keep you from doing the thing. Because by just posting the content, by allowing himself to dive into the latest trends, he built a platform that helped normalize queer couples in a huge way, to normalize queer parents in a huge way. Like, we were all on the journey when he and Steven became dads to Maverick, and the surrogacy and all of that. And I have to say, when I was diagnosed with infertility due to severe endometriosis, a lot of my friends didn't know what to say. A lot of my friends, especially the ones who wanted to become parents, kind of pulled back as if infertility was catching, you know? And Brett reached out and he talked me through my options lovingly and kindly, even though I really wasn't yet ready to hear it. I was still grieving my infertility, but he stayed on the phone with me. He talked me through adoption. He talked me through their surrogacy journey. He told me about different grants that I could apply for to help defray the cost of IVF. And even though I chose not to go that route, the fact that he took time out of his day to touch base with his friend who was going through a really hard time and chose to give me information to potentially help me achieve this goal. And honestly, I was in a shitty mood that day. I have to be honest. Like, I was very much still in the grief stage, and I know I was a little bit short with him, but he just kept talking through it. He kept listening, but he also made sure to give me the information that I didn't know was available. And I think what I liked about him most is that he just didn't shy away from the tough conversations in our friendship. Even when we worked together, I always mention that I was really evangelical when we worked together, but we would talk about church. We would talk about church and what we believed, and he didn't judge me because of how religious I was back then. He chose to get to know me human to human. He chose to show me love when I was going to a church that was very much love the sinner, hate the sin. And I loved that he started finding churches that he felt safe in. Like I remember, I think it was Marble Collegiate that he started going to, and he would send me sermons from one of the Black pastors there. And it's crazy to think about how many people we've lost from that incredible cast of The Little Mermaid on Broadway. So, all of that to say, life is short. Life is too short for imposter syndrome. Life is too short to not say the thing because, as I've experienced personally, but also with Brett's passing, you could wake up one day and go to the doctor's office and get a diagnosis that will change your life. So instead of waiting for that day to happen, live, 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 and embrace the freedoms that we have, especially with what's going on politically. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how much more time we're going to have being free to say what we want to say and put up these fun videos of us dancing or talking about politics or whatever. We don't know if we'll have tomorrow to ask out the person or to change careers or to follow your dreams. Like whatever it is, don't assume that you have time to do it. And one of the things that I really love is that I feel like he lived the shit out of his life. Like, I feel like from the time I knew him, I can't speak to the before times, but from when I knew him in Little Mermaid through the end of his life, he was living his life to the fullest. And I'm so grateful that he let us in, that he let us share in that joy. And I just ask if you've enjoyed their content, contribute to, if you've enjoyed the content of Broadway Husbands, contribute to their GoFundMe and also lift up Stephen and Maverick in your prayers. I'm a better person. I'm a better person for having known Brett. I'm better at having tough conversations because of the conversations I had with Brett. Because he didn't, even if we disagreed, it was still coming from a place of love. And I learned how to not shy away from those tough conversations. And I learned how to continue the process of refining what I'm saying from a place of love and to not just get frustrated and shut down. So that was my experience with my friend. The world is a little less bright without him. So I encourage you to shine your light even twice as bright because we really need it right now. So I'm going to get back to talking about politics and social justice and all that jazz. But I would be remiss if I did not pay tribute to Brett Shuford and say thank you for the gift you were on this earth. And yeah, that's that.